Ohio State fans are embarrassing themselves with how they are publicly handling Saturday's matchup with Tennessee. And I don't mean they're being classless. I mean, they are letting the rumors and the reports of Tennessee fans taking over the state of Ohio get to them. We talked about this last week. Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjork came out and essentially begged Ohio State fans to stop selling their tickets on the resale markets because those tickets would go to Tennessee fans and Tennessee fans would then invade the horseshoe. And he actually said Tennessee fans will invade the horseshoe, which was kind of a wild statement. That was the first part that made this wild. But then the next spot and the next crazy thing that happened was, honestly, Ohio State's new gimmick they're doing, which it's kind of like Tennessee for those who don't know. The way Tennessee does checker kneeling or the smoky grays, Ohio State's doing that for this game. It's called Scarlet the Shoe, where they're wearing all scarlet and they're having all the fans wear all scarlet at all points of the stadium so they can cover the stadium in scarlet, basically, their color. That's usually a gimmick. If you're Tennessee, you do that gimmick during regular season games to generate interest that may not have the hype that an Alabama game is going to have the hype for. Notice they didn't wear the smoky grays or checker kneeling for Alabama. They didn't need to. Why is Ohio State needing to do this gimmick for a college football playoff game, the first on-campus college football playoff game in the school's history for either team? It's a little bit weird that they're having to do that, but it seems like they are going out of their way to try to overcome the flood of Tennessee fans going into Columbus, which is wild. But here's where it gets crazy. This is the craziest one, and I saved this one for last. You guys know there were all the rumors of the flag planting in Ohio, and an Ohio State representative talking about, a law that would ban flag planting at midfield of stadiums. It was obviously a silly proposal. It was stupid. Everybody trolled Ohio. Everybody trolled Ohio State for it. That was related to what happened with Michigan. Tennessee fans then went on social media, and there were two rumors. I mean, there was the joke of, is Javonte Spraggins going to plant the flag in midfield? We don't know. But what happened after that was a couple of Tennessee fans said, forget about the flag. They would tear down the goalposts if they invade Ohio State and Tennessee beats Ohio State, that they would tear down Ohio State's goalpost, and that they would carry it into the nearby river by the stadium. That was the joke. And there was a Facebook post that actually showed a map. It was a hilarious just line drawn from the stadium to the river. Reference to Tennessee against Alabama throwing the goalpost in the river. That was kind of the idea. Guys, it was a joke. It was a joke. We're not expecting Tennessee to do that. Well, Ohio State didn't take it as a joke. Funny enough, this rumor prompted a public response from Ohio State campus police. Ohio State University Police Chief Dennis Jeffrey has said there is a plan to make sure Tennessee fans can't tear down the goalpost if Tennessee beats Ohio State. The police are literally making a plan to deal with Tennessee fans invading Ohio State Stadium. This is why Kirk Herbstreit is saying Ohio State may have been better playing on the road. This is why many of us feel that Tennessee is going to take over Ohio State, and this is why they are a trending pick to win this game. Because it's not just the rumors on social media that Tennessee is taking over Ohio State. Just for a quick recap, for those who don't know on the resale markets, and we talked about this 2 days ago, but we're going to talk about it again. On StubHub, as of Tuesday, I don't know if it's changed, but it was 42% of StubHub ticket purchases for the game were from Tennessee and 23% were from Ohio. It was about 37% from Tennessee and 34% from Ohio on SeatGeek, but there were more Tennessee residents buying tickets on resale markets to the Ohio State game, to the Tennessee-Ohio State game, than there were Ohio residents, at least on the resale markets. When you couple that with Ross Bjork's begging of the fans to not do this, to not sell tickets because Tennessee fans could invade the stadium, and then the Ohio State campus police getting involved and talking about a plan in place to make sure Tennessee doesn't tear down the goalpost at Ohio, which was based on a social media rumor, makes it very clear they are very worried about what Tennessee fans could do at the Horseshoe. And honestly, I got to be honest, they're kind of embarrassing themselves doing it. They're embarrassing themselves with the way they're going, and the way this is being handled. The show brought to you by Quality Tire Pros. The Eberle family has been serving Chattanooga community since 1957. All major brands of tires, full service automotive, brake alignments, oil changes, and more. All work is covered by a nationwide warranty. Cherokee Blvd or online at www.qualitytirepros.com. Say Off the Hook sent you. Go in and say, "Hey, Bo, Off the Hook sent you." Show brought to you by Quality Tire Pros. What do you guys think? I think that Ohio State is kind of embarrassing themselves, and honestly, they are bolstering the idea of the Tennessee takeover. I thought it was a social media rumor, and I wasn't going to jump into it even with the StubHub and SeatGeek numbers, but the way Ohio State officials are talking about it makes me think they're concerned. You guys give me your thoughts. We'll be back in 60 seconds. The show brought to you by banksandjones.com.
Why Banks & Jones? Well, it's because they're Tennessee's trial attorney. You can play to win with Banks & Jones because they'll go to trial. You've heard of other lawyers. They say they'll go to trial and fight for you. They won't. They just want to settle. That's the easiest way out. Well, that's not Banks & Jones, led by T. Scott Jones. They won't settle. They'll go to trial for you. Tennessee's trial attorney. They play to win. Truly Tennessee's trial attorney when it comes to criminal defense or personal injury. Why settle? It's Banks & Jones. T. Scott Jones. Banks.
All right, a couple people on the message board. TN Fall Niner says, "You're my boy, Caleb." Thanks. You're my guy too, TN Fall Niner. Benjamin Watkins says, "Solve State for sure." I don't know if they are, but they're making it look like it. CCP Buck says, "Moot point, Buckeyes going to curb stop Tennessee." CCP Bucks, you might actually be right. I'm not saying you're wrong. There are some actual X's and O's reasons to believe that. There's X's and O's reasons to believe the other way too. My point is, it's a little weird for Ohio State fans to take this trolling by Tennessee so seriously. And I don't mean Ohio State fans. I mean Ohio State officials. And Justin Lefevre makes a good point. If they're so confident they're going to win, why are the campus police making plans to stop Tennessee fans from raiding the goalposts? And Unsung says, "Soon it'll be a felony by simply beating Ohio State. Pseudo sham Tennessee is winning the psychological warfare battle." Benjamin Watkins is projecting that 30,000 fans will be at least be enough to make it feel like almost a neutral site. That might be true. So guys, look, I'm just saying that breaking this all down, the way Ohio State's handled this is, I think, what's so odd about it. I think that Ohio State is, look, if they had just said, nobody's going to tear down the goalpost and call that a day, or if they had just, talked about, trying to talk about the excitement of the game and people coming out, I might actually think they're not taking this seriously. But guys, the way this has gone, it's hard to not think they're taking this seriously. It's hard to not think they're taking the Tennessee takeover, as we're calling it, seriously, and that they're not concerned about it. It's just weird. And there's just no way around it. And that's the only way to break this down, is it's weird. They shouldn't be so concerned. And the only way I could think this is if I gotta think that they have some inside information that tells them that Tennessee might actually take over the stadium. And in the process of being worried about it, they've truly embarrassed themselves. Even if this doesn't happen, there's a great chance Ohio State fills the stadium, that they blow out Tennessee. We're not going to know until the Saturday of. But if that was the case, why are Ohio State officials making all these public statements? They're embarrassing themselves further. And if I'm an Ohio State fan, I would be angry at Ross Bjork. One, I'd be angry at him for sticking with Ryan Day. And I would feel angry at the campus police for issuing that statement. Dan McAllister says, "I work with some Ohio State fans. I'm not bragging because I still feel like we might lose the game," talking about Tennessee. I could see that. Alosia Williams says OSU fans would not let that happen. Colton is worried that OSU players are rallying around their team and come out strong, and and he says their fans are the losers. That might be the case. I don't even think it's the fans. I think it's the administrators. I think it's the administration. I think that the administration has handled this very poorly to go public, and they've really embarrassed themselves, and they've added fuel to this fire of the Tennessee takeover. I don't think they meant to do that. If I were them, I would just stay quiet.